Hey, yeah, let's talk about the axis of symmetry. So in your quadratics unit, we've kind of discussed this thing called the axis of symmetry that you need to know, you need to understand. So if you take any parabola, it doesn't matter which direction it's opening, any of that stuff, it's going to have a line, an axis, called the axis of symmetry that cuts it in half vertically. So this red line right here, that's your axis of symmetry. We'll call it the AOS a lot of times for short. Okay, that axis of symmetry is always going to pass through a very important point that we've discussed quite a bit called the vertex. Okay, so your axis of symmetry here in red is always going to pass through your vertex. So a lot of times if Mr. Dietz is asking you to write down the 9 things that he wants you to know about quadratics, when I tell my kids to write down everything, you write vertex, axis of symmetry, x-intercepts, y-intercepts. When you write axis of symmetry, I automatically want you to write x equals. Because every single time you're writing your answer for the axis of symmetry, it has to be in the form of x equals some number. Okay, so let's look at an example together. So if I give you a graph, and it looks like this, there you go, and you have a vertex. Let's call our vertex here 5, -1. Okay, so that point right there, your vertex is at 5, -1. That means that your axis of symmetry, okay, is going to be x equals 5. It is that simple. It does not require any math at all if you're given a graph. You just have to be able to locate your vertex. The axis of symmetry will always be x equals some number, and that number will be the x value of the vertex, the first number in the vertex. Okay, but let's say, for instance, you're not given a graph. You're just given an equation. Okay, you're just given the standard form or vertex form of a quadratic equation. I'm going to try to make up one in my head, and hopefully it works out okay. Let's see. Okay, so if this is our example that you've been given, and you need to find the axis of symmetry, but you don't have a graph anymore, and maybe you don't want to graph it, or your teacher asks you to find it algebraically or on paper. Okay, you need to know just one little very, very short formula for the axis of symmetry. It's the opposite of B over 2A. Okay, the opposite of B all over 2A. And that, of course, goes with the standard form of a quadratic, which is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So here we need to know our b and our a. For the example I've given you, a is equal to what? 2. Okay, and what is b? b is equal to -4. All right, so I'm going to take my axis of symmetry formula, and I'm going to say the opposite of b, our b is -4, all over 2 times a, which is 2. Okay. A lot of you might, if you've had experience doing this or you've done it before, when you write it the first time, you might just say, okay, well, I know b is -4, and I need to put the opposite of b in my numerator. So instead of writing negative and a negative, which makes it positive, you can just automatically go ahead and put a 4 up top. And then you have 2 times 2. That is 4. All right. So the axis of symmetry here for the example I've provided is going to be 4 divided by 4, which is 1. Remember that when you write your answer for the axis of symmetry, you have to write x equals. So here it is x equals 1. If they ask you to do your vertex after this, I know automatically that when I end up going to do my vertex, I don't even have to do anything for the x value because I know automatically the x value is going to be 1, and then I just have to find my y value. Alrighty, if you have any questions or you need more examples of axis of symmetry, just let me know.